In some ways, the fountain is the Tao with an intention.
Mm. Hmm.
The ever-flowing stream of life that has an intention to it. Or you can see the same, and again, I'll point your readers to somebody I just mentioned, to the movements of evolution toward the what people like Teilhard and Iliadelio would call the Christ Omega. But the fountain is an interesting image because the fountain is ever flowing. It doesn't stop. There's no zero sum in the fountain.
Hmm.
That Bonaventure, there's no God, and then all of a sudden God comes to the end of God's work in the universe. The fountain is not there. Nobody's going to plug it up, and certainly God isn't going to plug the fountain. And that's an interesting thing to ponder because many
Hmm.
people have the notion that God has done all God's going to do, or that God uh, is locked in some primordial vision of how things will be ever and anon, and God can't change the course of it. This fountain is a very intentional fountain, and its aim is to create the universe out of love. We might. I haven't done the science here, so we might ponder the fountain flowing into this particular universe uh, and bringing forth what we call the Big Bang, a little trickle. The Big Bang is about the size of your fingernail or smaller, that a little trickle of it comes there. Even though he was certainly caught in the worldview of his time, he might ponder that God has never not been a fountain. And
Hmm.
initially, the fountain, in terms of the way he talked, was a fountain that was flowing between the persons of the Trinity. Uh, that that you can't separate a drop from the ocean or a drop from the fountain. So but each drop is uniquely itself. Uh, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, or as we say more in my denomination, Creator, Christ, and Inspirer, or something like
Hmm. Hmm.
that.
I love that. Yeah.
And yet the fountain flows into the world, so it's flowing right through our podcast right now, because if it quit flowing, we'd cease to exist. And yet at the same time, the fountain is allowing each one of the drops to be a drop of the fountain. I don't see any predestination in Bonaventure. I don't see any coercion in terms of this is determined by God. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think that uh, he believed in the creativity of the word, whether it was the word on the page or the word made flesh. And then, of course, the fountain flows through everyone else. Uh, this is a fountain that flows everywhere. It's not just it's not a canal. It doesn't have a boundary to it. So that fountain is flowing through Gaza, it's flowing through Jerusalem, it's flowing through Potomac, Maryland, it's flowing through the inner city, it's flowing through Appalachia, it's flowing through people we love and people we don't love.
Hmm.
And inviting us maybe to realize that the person we don't love is also part of the fountain as well, and that we're connected even if we don't think so. And it's dynamic, it's forward moving. Again, Bonaventure can't be judged positively or negatively. He's a person of his time in terms of his cosmology or way of looking at the world. But I do believe that he would feel comfortable with an evolutionary vision and an evolutionary institution and an evolutionary religion that isn't locked into the past. A fountain can't be locked in the past because it's flowing. I mean, the only fountain that's locked in the past is a fountain that's plugged.